Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy D Wayne bringing you yet another YouTube video at this time. So basically what you guys see on your screen is we are digging in with some Thunder Dragons. Now this archetype was recently revealed about a few days ago. So yeah, I was very excited when I first grabbed this because this is, what these are to me is like shiveringly done right. Like, you know, the banish effects definitely help, you know, start engines and just start with complete shenanigans and stuff like that. Actually, I think this deck is really solid. So let's just go ahead and talk about everything because everything is basically new. Not everybody is aware of this deck and stuff like that. So let's go into it. So the first card is what is this card's name? Livonia the Primordius Chaos Dragon. That name though. So basically it is a dragon with 3000 attack, level 8 of course. Its effects reads, it cannot be normal summon set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 light and or dark monsters from your graveyard. When summoned this way, apply the appropriate effect based on the attributes of monsters banished for the special summon. Monsters of this card cannot attack for the turn. You can obviously use one of these effects once per turn. So light only, special summon 1 monster from your graveyard in defense position. 3 darks, shuffle 1 random card from your opponent's hand into the deck, and if you use a combination of both, you can destroy up to 2 cards on the field, which is really good, because obviously these cards are a mix of light and dark, of course, so it is possible for you to get the light and dark effect of Primordial to go off based on what we have here. So here's a little something to sort of bolster their banish effects, which I'll go into in a second. But basically the aesthetic is they have effects when in the hand to discard, and they also have effects when they are sent from the field to the graveyard or are banished. So let's go into the second card, which is this is Thunder Dragon, Aeon Thunder Dragon. This card also cannot be normal summoned set, must first be special summoned by banishing 1 light and 1 dark from the graveyard. Once per turn, if a martial effect is activated from your hand, which this card will gain 300 attack until the end of this turn. This card destroys an opponent's monster by battle. You can banish 1 card from your graveyard, add 1 thunder monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, during your opponent's end phase, you can target 1 of your banished cards, place it on either the top or the bottom of the deck. So this card is really good as well with Primordial. As a little bit easier to summon because you only need 1 light, 1 dark in order to summon it, and also obviously it triggers all of these cards' banish effects of course, and it also during the end phase you can recur your resources that you use to banish to summon this card by putting it either on the top or the bottom of the deck. So you can put any of the ones you used to the top of your deck so you can draw it for your next turn and have a resource to use on your turn for discarding, banishing, or whatever you happen to need the card for. So yeah, this card's pretty solid. I like it. Really good. Next card is Bestial Thunder Dragon. You can discard this card. Add to your hand 1 of your Thunder Dragon cards that is banished or in your graveyard, except another copy of itself. This card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard. You can special summon 1 Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense position. Now this goes well in tandem with Goldsark to get you some field presence on the field, so you can Goldsark, banish this, and special summon any of your Thunder Dragon monsters from the deck and proceed to set up plays from there. So yeah, this card is solid as well, really good. Next card is Aeon Thunder Dragon. You can discard this card, of course, special summon 1 of your Thunder Dragons that is banished or is in your graveyard, except another copy of itself. This card is banished from the field to the graveyard. You can shuffle a number of cards from your hand into the deck, and then draw the same number of cards. You can only use 1 effect with Aeon Thunder Dragon per turn, and only once this turn. That's another thing with this deck, of course, guys. These effects are very hard once per turns, so you would only be able to use 1 effect per turn, and only once that turn, of course. So yeah, so let's talk about this. Discard the special summon monsters. Thunder Dragon monsters banish or is in your graveyard, which is really good, so you can discard with either the other Thunder Dragon effects, and then you can discard this to special summon that same monster you discarded to special summon to the field, and then set up more plays from there. And the magical mallet type effect, because since a lot of these cards are tributes, and you may need a fresh hand, or you may have spells and traps that you don't need at the moment, you just banish this out with Gold Sark or whatever the case may be, and you can just shuffle those cards in and draw some new cards, and keep your fingers crossed for a better hand. So yeah, so that is that. This is pretty solid as well. Too bad some of these two aren't during your opponent's turn. It's these two that are during your opponent's turn, but I'll get to those in a second. So of course we have 3 of the originals. Discard this to add Thunder Dragons from your deck to your hand. That's not the other ones, it's just more copies of itself, unfortunately. Too bad I couldn't search the others, but yeah, you guys already know what that's about. So yeah, let's get into the Bolt Thunder Dragon, which is essentially the same as the regular Thunder Dragon, but it's a little better. So you can discard this card, and quick effect, which means you can do this during either player's turn. Of course, you can add another copy of itself from your deck to your hand. This card is banished or sent from the field or sent from the field to the graveyard. You can add 1 Thunder Dragon card from your deck to your hand. So this can, when banished, add any of the other Thunder Dragon monsters, or even the Thunder Dragon spell and traps, including the fusion and the 2 traps that we run here, which I'll get into when I get to them. So yeah, so it's basically the same as, like I said, the other one, just get another copy of itself, which is really good. This is during either player's turn, which could combo with the fusions, which I will also discuss when I get to them. So yeah, so we have Necrofaces for shenanigans, of course. Necroface, Trollface, you guys already know how that works. So yeah, so we have Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. So now this is very, very important hand trap, because of course in tandem with Call by the Grave, this is to essentially stop the Call by the Graves, because all of our effects activate from hand, of course, and you know Call by the Grave stops that from happening. It'll banish the monster and negate the effect. So if we activate this to stop the Call by the Grave, it'll negate it, and we'll be able to get out Thunder Dragon effects to go through. So that's why this is very important, and this is also important in the mirror match. Yeah, I've definitely had my share of mirror matches. I was playtesting this deck for a few days prior to me coming online and recording, and yeah, I've had a lot of instances of playing the mirror match, and this card is definitely coming clutch for it. So yeah, so that is that. Next we have, last but not least for the monsters, we have Origin Thunder Dragon. You're going to discard this card, then target 1 Thunder monster you control, quick effect. It gains 500 attack, and if this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Origin Thunder Dragon from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 of those effects per turn, of course. So this and this are the best for the fusion, because the fusion has effects that can activate during other players' turn. If you activate these, the fusion's effects will go off to do whatever it does, once again when I get into it. So yeah, we got 3 instant fusions for the Kaminari attack to help with summoning the fusion quicker. And we have 1 soul release. Obviously that is some fun tech for removing your player's stuff, other player's stuff, including your own, if you want to, set off certain effects if you want. But you can also banish your opponent's cards in their graveyard as well, so that they are not able to use them. So yes, we have 3 Gold Sarks, definitely essential for banished decks. Obviously you can banish the Necroface to get more banishing, to possibly set off Thunder Dragon effects, and also banishing cards from your opponent's deck as well, leaving them behind in resources and stuff like that, while it leaves you ahead because you're getting effects off the banished stuff. So yeah, that's that. Of course, foolish to send stuff to the graveyard to banish with other effects and stuff like that. Monster Reborn, of course. Left Guard Morphine banishes from hand to add a spell card from your deck to your hand. So obviously, it also facilitates the Thunder Dragon's effects, of course. Then we have the Thunder Dragon Fusion. Let's read this out. Fusion summon 1 Thunder Fusion from your deck by shuffling monsters in your possession listed on it into the deck. that are on the field, banished, or in your graveyard. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Thunder Monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So yes, when you have resources set up on field, engrave, and banish, you can use this to shuffle them back into the deck so that you have added resources to use, and then you summon your fusion monster. And it also comes with the added ability to banish, except the turn it was sent there, which is stupid, of course. I don't know why to do that, but you can banish it to add one Thunder Dragon monster from your deck to your hand, which is still really solid as well. So this deck has some really good searchability and has ways to sort of deal with any particular situation you find yourself in. The only thing I find with this deck that I have the problem with is if your monsters get taken. I've had plenty of scenarios where I've had my fusions taken and there's nothing I can do about it. Once again, I'll get into it when I get into it, but these definitely hurt when they're on the opposite side of the field. They definitely hurt you up. So anyway, so going into Call by the Grave, of course, dealing with hand traps and stuff like that can stop your Thunder Dragons from being discarded for whatever reason. DD Crows and stuff like that. I've had an instance where it was a pretty funny situation where I've used one of these effects and they tried to DD Crow to banish one of my cards so I couldn't get it, but I ended up getting it to my hand anyway, so it really didn't do much for it. But yeah, that's Call by the Grave. And of course we got 2 burials to put stuff back into grave that are banished, so you can use effects again. Of course, you guys know how burial works. And for the trash, we have 2 Stormy Mirror Forces for defense. We have the 100 Thunder Dragons. Target 1 Thunder monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Then you can special summon as many monsters of the same name as possible from the graveyard. Banish them when they leave the field. When a monster is special summoned by this effect is in the monster zone, you can't special summon monsters except Thunder monster. You only activate one of this per turn. So I guess what it's supposed to do is when you activate it, you can target a target a Thunder monster, special summon it, and then you're supposed to special summon as many other monsters as possible with the same name. So basically it just summons copies of itself. So if you had 2 Origin Thunder Dragons, you can summon one and then it'll summon the other one out. 2 Origins, and if you have 2 of the regular Thunder Dragon, it does the same thing, and it does the same thing for both Thunder Dragon as well. So yeah, so this is good for getting multiple copies and setting up for possible link plays or fusion plays or whatever you need them for at the time. So yeah, so let's go into Thunder Dragon Streamer. Like, the activation of your Thunder monsters cannot be negated once per turn if a Thunder Dragon monster is normal special summon. Your top roll spell trap on the field, banish the Thunder monster from your deck, and if you do, destroy that target. So here's a good, it's okay for some removal while giving you a banish from the deck, which is really solid as well. And the deck needs stuff like that, so you can set off Thunder Dragon's effects, of course. And your Thunder Dragon's effects cannot be negated. That would be obviously your fusions and any of your discard effects. And even if during the end phase to get something back, whatever the case may be, your Thunder Dragon's effects are safe from hand traps, even from Call by the Grave, I believe, because none of it can't be negated. So I think it's safe from Call by the Grave as well if you have this up. So yeah, it's pretty decent stuff. So yeah, so that is for the main deck. Let's go into the extra and speak about the fusion monsters. So we have Thunder Dragon Lord, which is 3 Thunder Dragon monsters it requires. Must first be fused summoned or special summoned by banishing 1 Thunder monster from your hand and 1 Thunder Fusion monster you control, except a little copy of itself, in which you do not use prioritization. When a Thunder monster effect is activated in the hand, including even during damage to that quick effect, you can destroy 1 card on the field. This card will be destroyed by battle or destroyed by card effect. You get banish 2 cards from your graveyard instead. So yeah, so this is obviously the big boss monster, of course. So yeah, so let's go back to speaking about the Bolt Thunder Dragon and the Origin Thunder Dragon. So these are the quick effect cards that can be sent to the graveyard during either player's turn. So when you activate either of these during the opponent's turn, this effect will trigger and allow you to destroy a card on the opponent's side of the field, and it does not target, and it is also not a once per turn clause. So if you have multiple, at most you'll get 2, because remember you can only activate 1 of these per turn. So you can discard this and then discard this, and then have 2 different times to disrupt your opponent's plays during their turn. So I think that's really solid. And also it protects itself by banishing 2 cards from your graveyard, so it doesn't have to necessarily be monsters. It can be spells and traps as well. In order to protect itself. And of course, this is a 3200 attack body, which can also be summoned through Instant Fusion, of course. Instant Fusion, summon common area attack, and banish any Thunder Dragon monster from your hand, along with it to summon this to the field. No polymerization required, so that's really good to have an alternate summoning method with, when you don't have the Thunder Dragon Fusion card available to use. So yeah, this is pretty solid. So the next one is Super Bowl Thunder Dragon. Now this requires a Thunder Dragon and 1 Thunder Dragon. Must be fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 1 non-fusion Thunder effect monster. During the turn, a Thunder monster effect was activated in hand in case you do not use polymerization. Opponent cannot add cards from other players' deck to hand, except by drawing them. This card will be destroyed by battle of card effect. You can banish 1 Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. Now, this card right here is definitely your card opener. You're definitely going to open with this card, because most decks can't really get over it unless little niche scenario, especially when you're facing meta decks with this. The Gokis and the Sky Striker, Trickstars and all that stuff, they can't really function while there's cards on the field, because they need to search in order to get cards on the field. Generate advantage and stuff like that. So this is definitely a good card to start with to stun your opponent while having yourself protected with its effect to protect itself by banishing a Thunder Monster. You'll definitely have Thunder Monsters in your graveyard to banish with this because of the way you use to summon this card. So yeah, this card is definitely solid. I've had a lot of people scoop on me because I've opened with this card and with protection on top of it. So this flank common area attack, of course, the instant fusion target to do this with the fusion and stuff like that. Yes, basically its purpose it serves, and then we have a bunch of generic link monsters to facilitate the fusion summoning, just in case you don't have the means to do so. So Link 2s and the Clock Taker and the Link Rebos for the Origin plays. Like summon an Origin, go into Link Rebo, and then get its effect to search another one. Stuff like that, while you can also set up fusion plays on top of that. So yeah guys, that is the deck for the most part. Hope you guys enjoyed this bit of an explanation of everything. Wow, it took a long time to really speak about the deck, but it's new, so not a lot of people know about it, so I figured I'd speak about it and give you guys an idea of how everything works and stuff like that. So yeah, so it don't make no sense to go into duels. It's just gonna run on a little longer than it has to be. So yeah, I'll keep this at that. So I'll be bringing you guys more videos in the meantime. But until then, peace, YouTube.